Good afternoon. This is Dennis Davis in the Safety Department at Prime. I've got the ever beautiful and intelligent Brianne with me, and we're here for session 2 of the Netradyne cameras talk with all of our friends and out in the industry. This is session number 2, Brianne. So hopefully we will get some new and interesting questions. We have had some consistent themes in the past, and for folks that this is your first time watching, thank you for joining us. We would really appreciate it if you went back and watched some of the last live we did, especially the announcement from May 10th that our CEO and founder Robert Lowe put out his statement. Our president Daryl Hopkins put out his statement, and I put out the initial statement as well. So it's important that folks understand the why behind the what, that, Brianne didn't come up with this idea, and she's, strong arming the rest of us into moving toward these types of technological advances, right?
Yep. And then we did a live last week, and then last safety meeting. So I don't know what the date was, but we talked a little bit about some of the different views. So there's some good information out there. If we don't answer it in this one, we'll try to get back to you, but we're going to try to answer any additional questions we got out there right now.
So going back to last Friday's safety meeting, you really did a fantastic job of just kind of peeling back the onion on the privacy piece. So you want to just kind of hit the bullet points of that real quick, starting with the inward facing blur, etc.
Absolutely. So the cameras are continuous recording. That's how the AI technology works. So what we have is privacy mode enabled. So the inward facing camera, if the key is off, is completely disabled. There's absolutely no video inside the cab. If the key is on, but the vehicle is not in motion. So if you're stopped somewhere, if you're in a parking lot, if you're at a fuel island, whatever it may be, key on, but you're not in motion, it is 100% blurred on the inside. So you can't see anything, all blurred. If the key is on and you are in motion, it is driver focus only. So only shoulder to shoulder of the driver, everything else, the passenger seat, the bunk behind them, everything else is blurred. And so those are kind of the 3 inward type views. Outward video is on. If the key is on, outward video is on. If the key is off, it will record for 10 hours. And then after 10 hours, it becomes on motion. So if the camera detects any G-force or sees any motion, it will kick itself back on and record. So those are kind of the little bits of privacy and video recording options that are out there.
And one of the questions that we get all the time, because we talked about being able to go back 100 hours and retrieve any information, any recorded information if we need to. How does that work from an inward facing standpoint? If you go back, yesterday at my break time, truck wasn't moving, key was off, like you talked about, can you still go back and retrieve that?
So you can, but it is only right now, safety is the only ones who can go back and pull any video that's not an event-based video. So nobody can go back and just watch continuous video or anything like that. It is that event-based. But if there was an incident or something that you need to go back, you were parked in a parking lot, somebody hit you, key was off, there is only external video. So there is no internal video at all. If the key was on and you were in motion and something happened, we go back, we pull, we would still only see that shoulder to shoulder of the driver, everything else blurred, and then the full outward view. So those are kind of how that would go on retrieval of a non-incident video.
And I'm kind of looking at some of the feedback that our marketing team has collected over the last couple of weeks. And one of the things that drivers have concern about is effectiveness. And really what they put, drivers question if the camera will actually improve safety. They argue that better training and addressing other factors would be more effective. And that's a statement in itself. My professional opinion, whether we agree with it or not, better training is having better technology to improve that training. And then coming from an athlete's background, of course, I'm not an athlete anymore, but grew up an athlete and watching game film every Monday, being able to review what I did on, that last week's game, that is a quote unquote game changer, to able to watch it over and over. And, that's why they get the term Monday morning quarterback. Sure, we get to Monday morning quarterback. The drivers, in an instant of an incident, they have a split second to make a decision, where when you have video, whether you're the safety department, the coach, or you're the driver, the player, you have the ability to play and rewind and play and rewind, to put it in slow motion, to break it down step by step, second by second, and see potentially what could have been done differently from an athletic standpoint, what you did on that particular play. Was it a habit situation that you've gotten into? Were you fooled by something that you saw? Or was it just a one-off situation? These can identify situations from a driving standpoint and essentially do exactly what drivers are requesting: better training. All right. And I know that there's a little bit of resistance from our experienced drivers, our 2, 3, 4. We've got one 5 million mile driver and he has no resistance to it. So I won't enter him into that demographic, but coaching is ongoing. Whether you've been here 1 year, 1 decade, whatever the case may be, it's important that we give you that continuing education. I'm getting on a flight on Sunday. I surely hope that pilot that's flying that plane has had some type of continuing education since he first got his pilot's license. And it's that idea that, at the end of the day, we want the best trained driver, the safest driver out on the road with you, with your family, and with everybody else in the motoring public.
Well, and training is continuous, and no one says that one we only have to do one part of training. It's kind of full circle. So it's in-person training, it's coaching, it's watching game video, it's doing all of those things together. And this is just one piece of that in becoming safer. I
think it's a great piece of it. And the feedback that we got from some of the drivers that do currently have the technology is that, you saw it on that first video that we did on that May 10th. Greg Helms, I think he's a 2 million mile driver. Obviously accident free, obviously does a great job for us. And he was one of the ones that were dukes up from the beginning. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be a part of this. He identified, hey, I've got a habit of rolling stop signs, and really being able to see it and watch it, it kind of changes the game for me. Now I'm paying attention to it more, and I'm cognizant of every time I come to an intersection with a stop sign, whether it's in Prime's parking lot or whether it's at the intersection of streets A and B, I'm making sure that I come to a complete stop because he knows and understands it's the right thing to do, and he knows and he understands that he's created this habit.
Yeah, and I think that coaching part is key.
So, do we have some questions that we need to answer from folks that are chimed in?
We do. Okay, so first one, and I believe I asked this earlier to Brianne. How long does the videos hold for if an event is created?
So it's kind of a tough answer here. It's not just a certain number of days. It is 3 months after the month in which the event was created. So if it was created May 1st, it's 3 months after the month of May. If it was created on May 29th, 30th, it is 3 months after the month of May. So kind of the month it was created in is kind of a give me, and then it's 3 months after that.
Okay. And again, that is just when the event is created, like
correct. If we want to go back and pull video for something, where an event was not created, it is 4 days. Pretty much max. They only have a certain number of recording time on the cameras before it goes back, and 4 days is pretty much the max for going back to pull video that was not event based.
I'll add a little bit of a caveat to that. Also, if there's an accident and we need to capture it, that does become a part of our legal save process, and we'll save that, same as we do it with everything else that we do from a legal save standpoint. That's a whole different video too, but that video footage is captured into that legal save, and it's saved for as long as we need it.
And you mentioned this in the meeting, I just want to put this on this video. There's no screen recording on the app, so any video created, anything on the app, you cannot screen record.
No,
correct?
We have that disabled internally as well. So there is none of that that's an option. So, I mean, I'm sure somebody somewhere will try to find a way around, but we don't allow it. So we've done our best to block that in every instance possible.
Mhm.
The old video of the video.
Yeah,
We
I mean,
have video.
I
Yeah.
just if it gets out, it's because somebody put it there. Those videos are for you, and that's kind of part of how that works.
Got another one here from YouTube. It says, how will these driver-facing cameras work for team drivers? They're specifically asking about couples. So, if somebody's changing or using the restroom, the camera is not going to show the spouse. Can you talk on
Shoulder to shoulder of the driver while at work. So everything in that passenger seat, everything in the bunk behind them, completely blurred out. It is shoulder to shoulder, key on, in motion. That's when the video is recording.
So as long as, all those things that you mentioned, as long as you're not doing it in the driver's seat at 65 miles an hour, you don't really have a lot to worry about.
Well, that's it. Love it.
And we do, if an event is created, you do get to see all of those in the app. So that is kind of part of our transparency piece, is that every video that is recreated, the driver gets to see as well. So there's none that they don't get to see. So every event that is captured becomes available to the driver.
Perfect. Have you guys seen any alerts for hands-free devices like Bluetooth headsets, anything like that?
Every once in a while. And so kind of, I know that we've gotten some privacy question as well, as far as like, if third parties can see these and stuff. And so when we come across an alert, and if it is false, so maybe you have a vape and you're holding it kind of up by your head and it thinks it's a mobile device, we report those as false. They de-identify the video, which means that they take out any company, driver, any truck, any type of information that comes along with it, and they use that then to retrain the model to prevent that from showing up as an alert again. So each one of those is used, but they've all been de-identified at that point in time. So there's no actual personal information in there. They just use that to retrain the AI to pick up on that false alert and not identify those anymore.
So apparently there's a rumor going around that
Oh, I love rumors.
Yeah, I know, me
It's true.
too.
I'm just telling you right
Great.
now.
Yeah. So any driver that's coming to the Springfield, Missouri terminal right now is being forced to get a camera and be part of that 300 truck testing process. Is that true?
It's 100% false. We're looking for volunteers. I think there are some people who maybe get some tickets perchance that
There's the voluntold crew. I'm not posted up in Bay 45 or better yet at inbound, with a clipboard writing down truck numbers saying you're pulling in for camera. That's not what our goal is. Now, if we have routed you here because you have gotten written up for a handheld device, or you've gotten written up for a seatbelt violation, or you've got a high frequency of critical events, or you've got some type of safety challenge that we are bringing you here for coaching purposes, yes, we are going to say, when you leave out of here, the expectation is that you leave.
say most
No.
of the people leaving here do not. It is still for everybody else. It's volunteer, but we have some really great volunteers and some really people who have been kind of, questioning a lot, getting involved, and that's awesome.
Got another one for you. Somebody wants to know, will drivers be penalized for anything that's said in the cab?
So there is
That's a trick question.
Yeah.
Because if we say yes, that means there's audio,
Yeah.
Brienne.
There
and you've
is-
told me there was no audio.
absolutely no audio recording.
Hey, I will say this: the camera is what it is. It does have a microphone on it. There is no audio, zero audio. We're not listening to anything. We're not. We can read lips pretty well, though.
Yeah, I've definitely detected a few hand gestures that I could pick up on.
What does the middle finger mean? By the way?
My sign language is a little rusty, but I don't think
Okay.
I don't think it's thank you. So there is no audio that's in there. It is disabled at the fleet level. So every camera that's out there, we can't turn it on or off per camera, anything like that. That is a fleet setting. And currently, I am the only one who can change that. So the privacy filters and the audio, I am the only one who can change that at this moment in time. And it does affect everything across the board. So just that's not something that a fleet manager can change if they want, they think something is happening. It's not something that safety can change. That is just an IT administration function at this time.
Can we talk a little bit about, I've seen some questions on social media about the rollout date. I know we're still in the pilot phase of still trying to
You
get
want to
300.
talk about rumors? Well, let's talk about the rumors.
Yeah.
So
I love
we
rumors.
don't have a firm rollout date right now. We are in this pilot testing right now where we are still configuring and looking at some of the different alerts and looking at some settings that we're adjusting and working through as we get some of those things. So we are constantly moving that date around as we go. We're hoping for possibly sometime in August. That's what would be our goal. We don't have a plan for who's going to get it first, who's, which terminals or anything like that. It's still just kind of a loose, because part of this does come with a new mobile comm system, and that's a much bigger piece, and they are paired together. So I just want to be real clear that there is no set date, and there is absolutely no plan right now that if you're a trainer, you're going to get it first, or if you're a solo, you're going to get it before a team. We don't have any of that kind of detailed out yet. So that is still very much in the works.
Hey, real quick, mobile comm, there's a lot been said. We don't talk a lot about that piece of it. It's the camera piece. Just real quick, why don't we talk about that piece as much?
We're going to do that kind of separately. They are kind of, they're paired together a little bit because we do use the information from that to identify who's driving. Kind of, I guess, some other questions about biometrics. Our identification in the camera comes from who's logged in through hours of service. That's where that piece comes from. We've never asked anybody to scan in a fingerprint or come get a face scan or anything like that to do that kind of biometrics piece. It's all through that hours of service piece. And we're not 100% sure yet on that. We're really still testing it out and working through a lot of pieces. A lot goes into that, and we're not ready to pull the trigger on that exactly yet. So when we do know for sure, and we are committed, and we know what direction we're heading, we will make some announcements and we'll answer some more questions and do all of that stuff. But right now, we're just kind of focusing on the camera piece at this exact moment in time.
We may be testing your math skills a little bit here, but we had a question on following distance. That's one of the alerts. How is that calculated? What are we expected to, how far are they expected to stay back?
I knew I was going to get some, so I came prepared. So I'm going to tell you following distance right now. You get an audible alert at 1.2 seconds and 0.6 seconds. So it's real close. Those are where you get the audible. The camera will talk to you and tell you that you are following too close. There is a collision warning that you'll get at 2.6 seconds if the vehicle in front of you is not moving. So there's multiple pieces to it that kind of go into that, but average following distance is a calculation as part of the green zone score, which is your
minute by minute analysis of driving behavior.
And so right now, as of hopefully today, our fleet-wide setting will be 3.6 seconds, which is control will hold you at in front of that for that, I don't know what you call that, cruise control, the adaptive cruise, where it'll hold you to that vehicle in front of you. So 3.6, and that's what we will set our company-wide goal to for following distance. It's been 4.0, but it is changing to 3.6 because that is a request that we made of Netradyne to match our company.
Just a quick follow-up to Jamie's question about rollout. You had mentioned the August date. There's some concern going that everybody is going to have a camera by August. You mean that is the idea of when we're going to start the rollout past the 300 trucks?
Yeah, we want this 300 to really kind of get in and help us fine tune these alerts, really provide the feedback that's necessary, work with us, give us that feedback that we need. But there's I don't know that there's enough shops in the that we could come across that we could get every camera installed and a mobile comm upgrade done in the month of August. It is going to be kind of a rollout procedure. But it's going to be in process, and it could take a while.
It will take a while, and I know I'm kind of dating ourselves and folks that are listening that were here for the ELD rollout. You know, we tested it, we flipped the switch. It took us about 16 months to really get every single driver or above 90% compliant with the ELD piece. So I anticipate it'll be similar to that. There'll be some stragglers at the end that we'll have to chase down and get it done. I mean, it's just the way it goes. We understand that, but we don't anticipate this being a fast. All of a sudden everybody come to Pittston, Salt Lake, or Springfield, and in the next 7 days, and we expect you to have a camera. That's logistically impossible, on a number of different fronts. So
I will dispel the rumor. It is not because we don't have the equipment. It is not because it doesn't exist yet. We could have it all here tomorrow if we really wanted it, but that's just not our intention. We do plan to roll out, but it will not be every single truck in 1 month.
Okay, I've got one from Facebook. Does the camera system work separately or together with the on-guard system that's already on the truck?
It works together.
Mm-hmm.
So it uses the sensors, part of whether you're Detroit Assurance or Bendix,
Correct.
that are in the truck. And that is kind of the same critical events that are there now. It uses all of that same data that comes from the truck. So we're not using the G-force sensor in the camera for roll stability or anything like that. That is from the truck's safety equipment. So that's when those are triggered.
And those critical events, those affect your stars and points for your day?
They do, yeah. So, kind of all of those events, if you have a few perchance somehow run through a red light, if you have severe backing, which is a new one that I saw,
Mm-hmm.
Forward collision warnings, all of those kind of alerts that are triggered do affect that green zone score as far as your safe driving score.
And I think that's a good time to kind of talk about another deal that drivers have put out there, and it's kind of job security. Again, our goal is not gotcha. We need good drivers. We need safe drivers. Our goal isn't to bring you in here and run you out of here for running a stop sign. That's not what we did before. That's not what we're going to be doing moving forward. Our goal is to help you see and understand what that looked like. Okay. What happened? It's not inconceivable from somebody that investigates a lot of accidents that your recollection of what happened and what actually happened may be slightly different. Okay. The video, it just tells the truth. It's not biased. It just captures what happens both from an outward facing and inward facing standpoint. And the more data and more information we can use to coach and change habits and enlighten drivers on whatever behaviors they have going on behind the wheel, both brand new drivers, novice drivers, and long-term drivers. So.
Just to clarify, so we have a lot of lease operators at Prime, right? This
Mm-hmm.
does apply to everyone running under Prime's DOT authority, correct?
So we are at any given time, we're probably about 90% independent contractor here. So 90% of the folks are lease operators. Anybody that operates under Prime's DOT authority, if the DOT number 3706 is on the side of your truck, at some point you will have this technology in your truck. Okay, whether you outright bought your truck, whether it's a brand new lease, whether you drive a company truck, whatever the case may be, it's all about the operating authority. So we do have some folks that operate on the advanced side, and one of the bigger ones is just down the street here, Wilson Logistics. It's a big advanced company, essentially. That's what they are. Awesome partner, awesome safety director, Jeff Field. Awesome company. They are not getting this technology. However, they've got their own, and they actually beat us to it. And they're in their own implementation phase of their own technology. But if you operate under the DOT authority, 3706, no matter who paid for the truck or what the title says, it's going to be having this technology.
I think we're good to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you both for your time.
Excellent. And if you guys have additional questions, there's a form out on Prime Mobile in the news section and kind of under the announcement. There's a survey you can fill out and try to answer all of those and get some information back out one way or another. So
Always shameless plug, Friday, tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Central Time, we'll do our safety meeting. We always accept feedback on some of the things that drivers want to hear about. We don't want to just be camera. There's other, safety things that go on. So thanks a lot.
appreciate your time.